Hello, my little maniacs. This is your host, the Maniacs Gaming, coming back at you with another video. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down the Bucs 2023 NFL schedule, giving my record predictions, games I think could be interesting, and games that I think could go either way, and games that I think will straight up lose. As always, I am your host, the Maniacs Gaming. Down below, you'll see my YouTube there. Obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see it there. And below that is my Twitter handle. Feel free to drop me a follow. I'll drop random sports takes and stuff on there all the time. But now, let's get into the video for your Go Bucks. So, week 1, Sunday football, we will be taking on the none other than the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. Now, obviously, this is going to be week 1, so it's going to be a lot of offenses still getting to know each other. This video, I'm going to clarify, is going under the situation that Baker Mayfield is the starter the whole season. I'm going to clarify that right away. Baker Mayfield is the starter for the full season in this video. I'm not going to try to predict when he could be taken out or if he doesn't play the whole season or not. That's just my opinion, that I do think he's going to win the starting job, and I'm not going to try to figure out when he'll get pulled if he does. Anyway, week 1, Baker's going to be the starting quarterback. There's not going to be much tape on him because he's only going to play preseason. He's probably not going to play too much preseason, assuming he has won the starting job at that point. So, but the Vikings, on the other hand, obviously their main threat is Justin Jefferson, but I think we could match up well with them because we do have a rather good corner duo in Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean. So I think they could definitely be able to lock him up, as well as Antoine Winfield and Ryan Neal over the top. I really hope I said his name right, because we just signed him from the Seahawks. Please let me have gotten it right. Yes. So he's going to be hopefully our starting strong safety. Then we also have Zion McCollum and a couple other guys that are going to be like the nickel corner, hopefully. But we'll see how that works out. But also the Vikings have already traded Zadarius Smith away to the Browns, I believe it was. So that's a big plus to us. Obviously, that's one less pass rush we have to deal with week 1 that we know is going to be really good. And also the expectation is Dalvin Cook is expected to be released by noon. I do know that the Vikings have yet to confirm that. So I'm going to go under the assumption that Dalvin Cook, as of this time, he's still on the team. So I'm going to assume at this point, because they've already expressed interest in cutting him, that he is cut. And he's not with the team. He went to a different team. So I'm going to assume this. So I'm going to give the Bucs a win week 1 against the Vikings in Minnesota. Now, that could be an extremely hot take, but obviously Jordan Addison's new to the offense. He's going to be the number 2. They don't have Adam Thielen anymore. They cut him for cap purposes. Then he went off to the Carolina Panthers. So obviously there is a lot of difference in this offense for the Minnesota going forward. I don't have faith in Kirk Cousins, even though I think he is a decent quarterback. He is an average quarterback, even above average in some games, unless it's prime time, obviously. So I definitely could see a situation where the Vikings pull this one out and get a win over the Bucs. But just on paper, to me, it doesn't make sense. Limited tape on Baker. Zadarius Smith is not there anymore. Dalvin Cook is expected not to be there. The offense is going to need time to develop, and I just don't like it. Obviously, Bucs, we still have all of our playmakers from last year other than Lenny, but we replaced him with Rachaad White, who has experience in the offense. So hopefully that'll help us out. So I'll start us off at 1-0. And then week 2, we're going to be at home for our season opener against the Chicago Bears. Obviously, the Bears have made a lot of improvements this offseason. They got a franchise tackle, hopefully, in Darnell Wright. They'll keep Justin Fields upright. But I think this game is going to come down to, is Justin Fields 100%? Is he going to be ready? Is he going to be able to stay healthy? Obviously, another big trade the Bears made was trading that number 1 overall pick for a bunch of draft capital, as well as DJ Moore. Obviously, former Carolina Panther that has given the Bucs head fits. So now they have the two-headed monster of Darnell Mooney and lovely DJ Moore. Who's going to be the number 1 is going to be time to tell. I would assume it's going to be DJ Moore, but obviously this is going to be an offense that's going to need to get used to playing together. They got rid of Montgomery. I'm not sure who their new starting running back is at this point, but obviously they're going to need a new starting running back going forward. So, in my personal opinion, I think this is going to be another Bucs win, just for the simple fact of I just not the biggest fan of how their offense is shaping up. Obviously, Darnell Wright's going to be a huge addition to them, but the rest of the O line is still going to be somewhat of an issue. And prioritize Justin Fields' health is going to be a massive need for them going forward. Obviously, that's something they are going to have to prioritize, and hopefully they can manage to do that. But I think this is going to be a win for the Bucs week 2. Now, week 3, Monday Night Football against the Philadelphia Eagles. They didn't lose a whole lot. They brought back James Bradbury. They wound up keeping Darius Slay, even though they were going to cut him, but then they brought him back on a restructured deal. But of course, this meant they did lose, unfortunately, Miles Sanders, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and Javon Holland, I think it was, D tackle. So obviously there's going to be some holes on their team, but I think they did a rather well job filling them up. They got a couple depth pieces. Obviously, they brought in Rashad Penny to help fill the role of Miles Sanders, and they also brought in this running back from Detroit that just so happens to be a Bulldog in DeAndre Swift, and they also got Jalen Carter in the draft to help with the D line. So I definitely think that this could be a competitive game. I am going to preface that I think it could be a competitive game, but I think it's only going to be in the first half. I don't think the Bucs will be able to keep up with the Eagles. AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Jalen freaking Hurts. If as long as everything goes right for the Eagles, I see them winning this game and the Bucs drop to 2-1. Now week 4 we have the Saints. Obviously new quarterback in Derek Carr, but they lost a lot of pieces. They brought back Michael Thomas on a restructured 1-year deal, so that's a win for them, maybe. Assuming he plays the whole season. His injury concerns are going to be something to deal with. And then obviously Derek Carr does have some inconsistency issues over the past couple of years, where some days he can be elite Pro Bowl level quarterback, and then the next he's just not it. So that is going to be something to keep an eye out. Obviously on the defense, I believe they lost. It was Marcus Davenport. They lost to him, unfortunately. So that is definitely going to be a concern for them. And then obviously their defense just has a lot of injury problems. Marshawn Lattimore was injured a little bit last year, so obviously injury concerns is going to be a thing for that defense. So I think this is going to be a very competitive game between the Bucs and the Saints again. I think it is going to come down to the fourth quarter, but I personally do have the Bucs winning this one week 4. I think we're winding up splitting with the Saints, but I think the Bucs will go 3-1. Derek Carr's going to need time to be developed into the offense. Defense is going to need time to regroup from last year. They lost a couple key pieces, obviously, so that's going to take time for them to develop. And I do think the Bucs would win this one and advance to 3-1 on the season. And then we have our bye week, which I personally hate this. I don't like having a bye week this early, but I do like the chance for the team to rest and be able to build upon it. But it's an early bye week, which I've never been a big fan of. But we get a week 5 bye. It is what it is. Then week 6, we played the Detroit Lions at home as well. The Lions made a lot of moves in the draft. Big notable ones are Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round. I believe it was 12th overall, which wound up leading into them trading away DeAndre Swift to the Eagles. And then they also picked up Jack Campbell, a linebacker, to help build up that defense. I like the Lions. I do think that they're going to keep building on last year. Obviously, we're not going to have to deal with Jameson Williams because he is suspended for the first 6 weeks of the season, or first 6 games. I don't know when the Lions bye week is personally, so that could play into our factor there. But Jameson Williams will not be in this game, but they'll still have Amon-Ra St. Brown. And then I believe they drafted a tight end as well that'll be starting as a rookie. And they still have Jared Goff, who I like Jared Goff. I think he's a solid quarterback. I definitely think this is one the Bucs could take, but I personally don't see it. I like the Lions a little bit better with Aiden Hutchinson. Obviously, they lost Jeff Okudah, but again, injury concerns, inconsistent play. So I'm not sure how much of a loss that'll be for them in the long run. But I'll have the Lions taking this one, which drops the Bucs to 3-2. And then week 7, we have the Atlanta Falcons at home. this is a game I think we are. This is a series I think we are going to split with the Falcons, just because I don't believe in Desmond Ridder. He hasn't shown me a whole lot to make me confident in his ability to be able to really perform very well. Obviously, he had a really good game against last year, but it was the last game of the season when we were resting all of our stars because we had already clinched the division. So it doesn't really mean a whole lot. But again, like I just don't have faith in Desmond Ridder, and obviously their offense is just something I'm not entirely okay with, other than the Bijan Robinson pick. But again, I didn't really like that pick for them. I would have gone a different direction because they do have Tyler Algier there, and they still have Cordero Patterson. I'm assuming they're going to have Cordero line up at receiver. Obviously, they lost Calvin Ridley because they traded him to the Jaguars, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then obviously Drake London's going to have to step up a lot more this season. He is going to be the bona fide number one the entire season again. And obviously Kyle Pitts is still there, but they've been known not to use Kyle Pitts. And they also did trade for Jonnu Smith. But again, I think it's going to be early for a young Falcons team. And I do think this is going to be one that we are going to get over the Falcons. So I think the Bucs will advance to 5-2 at this point. And then we have the Bills. The Buffalo Bills, Thursday night, prime time, short week for the Bucs. And I'm not gonna lie to you, y'all. This is a loss. We're gonna drop to 5-3, 1,000,000%. Like Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid. They just added. Von Miller's gonna be healthy and playing. Greg Rousseau, Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer. They brought back. This is gonna be a game that I would love for the Bucs to upset the Bills, but it's just not gonna happen. We will drop to 5-3. And then we're going to go on a little bit of a run here. We got the Texans. They got their hopeful quarterback of the future in C.J. Stroud. I think that could be a win. But obviously, they also have Will Anderson. So this is a game I could see going either way. So I think it is going to be a win at the end of the day. I just think that an experienced team versus the Bucs just isn't going to play out for them. Did I do my count wrong? Hold on. I feel like I did my count of record wrong. All right. Vikings, Bears, Eagles, Saints, Lions, Falcons. Okay, yeah, we're 4-4 at this point. I apologize. I must have miscounted. Right? Vikings, Bears, Eagles, Saints, Lions, Falcons, Bills. No. 4-3. Okay. So I think this is a game we could win. I think it's a game that could go either way. C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson obviously are going to need time to develop. They're not going to be bona fide superstars right out of the gate. But obviously, like Houston added Dalton Schultz in free agency, but they lost Brandon Cooks. So I'm not entirely confident in the offense. So I think this is a win for the Bucs to advance them to 5-3 at this point. And then we have the Titans, Kane Henry, and that's about it. I mean, they got Will Levis, so I mean, I don't have faith in any of their quarterbacks. Ryan Tannehill is the definition of inconsistent. Some weeks he's really good, some weeks he's not. Malik Willis, who's shown some flashes, but not enough I feel confident in him. And Will Levis, who might not even have a starting job at this point. So who knows? The offense, they really haven't added a whole lot to it. I mean, Traylon Burke's still there, and he's going to be developed more from last year. And then they lost Bud Dupree. They lost Taylor Lewan on the offensive line. They made some other cuts. They're going to have a new kicker. So it's just the Titans are in a little bit of a rebuilding year. I do have them finishing last in the AFC South. So I think this is going to be a win for the Bucs to advance us to seven wins. And then we take on the Niners. This isn't easy. There is no contest. Obviously, Jimmy G is no longer a Niner, but they have Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, Trey Lance. One of those three is going to be the starting quarterback. The only way I see us winning this game is if Sam Darnold's somehow the quarterback, because I have no faith in Sam. But that defense is still going to build on last year. And I think this is going to be an L, dropping us to 4 wins. Sorry, 4 losses. So 7-4 at this point. Going into, what is this? 17, 16, 15, 14. Week 13? That right? Yeah. where we play the Panthers. I think we lose this game to Carolina. They're going to be fighting for a playoff spot. I don't think they're going to have it clinched up. I think this is a game we are going to lose to drop us to 7-5. I like Panthers a little bit more than I like our roster. Obviously, they added Bryce Young, who should be the day one starter. They lost, I believe it was Foreman in the offseason, or maybe it was Hubbard. One of the two they've lost, but they added Adam Thielen. They lost DJ Moore, so that's going to be a loss for them. But they added a couple receivers in the draft. That defense didn't lose a whole lot of pieces, so I do think they're going to improve. So, but this I think is going to be a loss, dropping the Bucs to 7-5. Falcons, we talked about this earlier. At this point, the team's going to be more experienced, so I'm going to have them winning this game, dropping the Bucs to 7-6. And then the Packers game, obviously they don't have Aaron Rodgers anymore. He was traded to the lovely New York Jets. They don't have Randall Cobb anymore. Alan Lazard is also gone. All of them went to the New York Jets. The defense, still the defense. Hopefully, he's going to take a step up. So, this is under the assumption I do think Jordan Love is going to be an average quarterback. So, I do have us losing this game, dropping to 7-7. And then we have the Jags, Trevor Lawrence, DJ Chark, Christian Kirk is still there. Evan Ingram's there on the franchise tag. And then they traded for Calvin Ridley, who's going to be playing at this point. So high-flying offense against our defense that is known to be inconsistent against those high-flying offenses that are pass-heavy on occasion, especially when they have a lot of weapons they can pass the ball to. And then the defense is no joke. Walker's going to be developing. Josh Allen is still there. So I think this is going to be a loss for the Bucs, dropping us to 7-8. And then we have the Saints on New Year's Eve. Again, I talked about this earlier. At this point, the team's going to be developed. They're going to be playing how they're playing. I think we'll lose this game, and we drop to 7-9. And then the last game of the season is going to be against the Panthers. Week 18, I actually had the Panthers winning the NFC South, so I think they're going to be resting their starters at this point. The season's already going to be determined, so then they'll be resting starters, so I think the Bucs will win this game. So that puts the Bucs at about 8-9. So we'll go ahead and add this in here. Boom. 8-9. That's my record prediction for the Bucs. I definitely could see us going 9-8, 10-7 maybe. Like games that could go other way anyway. Any of our division games, I could see us sweeping them. I could see us losing them all. I can see us going 6-0 in division games. I can see us going 0-6 in division games. It all depends on how teams are developed. Other games that I could see going either way, the Colts game, Anthony Richardson. I could see us dropping a game to him if he develops and he's the starter at that point. Packers game, I definitely could see going either way, depending on how Jordan Love develops. If he doesn't do too good, I definitely could see us winning that game. Other games, I mean, Titans game, I could definitely see going either way, especially if Will Levis takes over. Lions game, if the team doesn't develop how they want it, I could definitely see us getting one over the Lions. But other than that, like, most of the games I think are pretty straightforward. Obviously, this will change as the season goes along. But right now, I have the Bucs going 8-9, potentially 9-8, depending on the Packers game. High is 10-7, but I definitely could see a world where we go like 4-13. I think what definitely benefits us about this schedule is the fact we play in the NFC South, not the best division. We have the Bears on the schedule, which is helpful, and then the entire AFC South is on here. Other than the Jags, I don't have faith in any of them. But then obviously we have the Niners, the Eagles that are going to knock us around. Lions, I think, will knock us around. Bills are going to obviously knock us around. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. Do you guys think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm a homer for thinking that this is what's going to be happening? But let me know what you guys think down below. And make sure to subscribe to the channel on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Trying to hit that by the end of the year. Trying to hit 700 by the end of this month. Let's get it. Down below, you can see obviously here are my YouTube is the first one, and then my Twitter handle is the second one. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, I would appreciate it, but you don't have to. And as always, I will see all of you guys later. Stay crazy, fam. Also, if you made it to this point of the video, this is the first time I'm recording a video in OBS. Let me know what you guys think about it. Do you like this style? Do you not like it? This is something I'm trying out, see how it will go. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section about OBS being used to record videos.